I'm Fatima. I'm from Richmond, BC. I'm your health and beauty social media queen.
Hi guys, I'm Chef Fred. I live in North Vancouver, BC, and I'm a health enthusiast.
Hi everyone, my name is John and I'm in Vancouver and I'm a work from home dad to two great kids and married to a wonderful wife.
Hi, my name is Cyrene. I live in Vancouver and my passion is health and beauty.
Hello, thanks for joining us. We are at the last series of The Healthy Home. Hope you guys have enjoyed our series. If you haven't had a chance to watch the rest of them, please check out our Facebook page, The Healthy Way Vibes. Also our YouTube channel, it's the same thing. You will be able to catch the videos there. So this here is, who wants one of these? Who would like one of these? Well, in order for you to get one of these, you gotta like our page, you gotta share our page, you gotta be commenting on our videos, as well as tagging 3 of your friends. And did you know that this is a bestseller and also you can't find it on Amazon? Did you guys know that?
No.
Well, you guys are in luck because we've got 4 copies that we're giving away. So, and we'll announce the winner live on our Q&A, which we will announce. We will post. Just watch for that. So watch for that, and we look forward to seeing you. So our last topic, the garden. It's pretty exciting. I know a lot of us have been working on our gardens. We have, but despite the fact that we're working on our gardens and our garage, there's still things that we have to be cautious of when we're doing that. What are some things, I can't speak to the garage because we don't have one, but what are some things that you need to look for in a garage? I know the most obvious one is the carbon monoxide that is released from your car. That is the most obvious one.
That's right. And it also depends if your garage is attached to your home or not. Because in the days, the garage in people's home were behind the house. Like walking distance, it was not attached to the house. And now because we have smaller lots, our garages are normally attached to the house. So there's a door in between, and that door is sometimes kept open. And in the garage, we keep pots of paints that are slightly open because you can never close a pot of paints properly after you open it. And the fumes comes out of there. We've got chemicals. We've got the stuff that we use for the car. And then we've got the car, when you start the car, the monoxide of coming out of the car stays in the garage. But then if the door is open, it goes into the house and then you end up breathing it. So one good tip is to make sure all the containers are closed. A good trick for the paint is to put film, saran wrap, cling film on top of your pot of paint and then close it properly with your rubber mallet. And then even keep it upside down so it helps the paint staying, together, I guess. But there's no fume coming out of it either. And also it's, if you need to buy a house, it's better to have the garage not really attached to the house to make things easier, I guess.
Or, if you have a shed, stick all your things that have the fumes in it. Anything that's, you can, if it has a smell, or even if it doesn't have a smell, it might be flammable, but stick it outside. I mean, if you have a little storage shed or like a little, a working garage or something, I stick my stuff out there so that it's not actually in the house. And then plus, we have a lot of stuff that we keep out there for our garden. A lot of fertilizers, a lot of plant stuff that has a smell to it as well.
Yeah.
I don't want that in the house as well.
No, neither we. Sorry, we just finished renovating a bedroom downstairs. So we were just trying to figure out how we're going to store the paint away. So thank you so much for that, Fred.
Oh,
yeah, no worries.
Yeah, and if you actually have anything laying around, like old paint, especially spray cans, spray cans, you're not supposed to throw them in the garbage can. Most recycling places around the city, you can bring them in and it's free. So when you do have collected like buckets of paint or spray cans or even any kind of chemicals, They even take in, I think some places even take in used motor oil if you do your own oil changes, because you can't pour that down the drain as well.
Even old cooking oil they take in.
That's right. That's right. So you can take in a lot of things, but just Google online and
As
find
long
out which.
as long as it's free, because I know a lot of people, if you buy paint, a lot of people won't want to pay to
Yeah. No.
get it disposed properly.
Yeah.
So when it's free, people are more tempted to dispose of their chemicals, I guess, and paint as well.
Yeah, a lot of
It's
places
a
just
better way.
call ahead of time. The places that I've been taking mine to is free. They don't charge you for it, because you'll notice that when you buy some of these products, they charge you that environmental fee.
Yes.
That's what it's for. That's what it's for, is to help recycle it, right? So you're paying for that. So they have most of the time it is free, but if you're thinking about motor oil, call most garages, like most car places, like places that fixes up cars. They'll take it. You have a limit. I think it's like 12 liters a day, but you do your own oil changes. Just drop off, and that includes the filter. Like, don't throw the filter into the garbage can. I don't know. It's just I don't know why someone would throw the filter into the garbage can, because it's got oil in there as well. But you can take everything, even the jugs, the empty jugs, take it straight to the recycling depot and they'll take it in. So that's very interesting, but very, very useful that I didn't know.
Yeah, those are some excellent tips. Again, thanks for sharing that, because we don't have a garage, so we don't have that to worry about. But I mean, there's not also the garage. There's also like your garden that you mentioned with your fertilizer. And how are you storing and your fertilizer safely?
For me, I keep my fertilizer in a garbage can that has a lid on it, and it's outside. The only detriment to that sometimes is because I live next to a stable. The rats comes in and they chew through the garbage, and
Even though
it
it's
happened
metal?
once. They chew through the plastic to go and eat the
Oh, yeah.
fertilizer.
Oh, it doesn't hurt them, the fertilizer?
Nothing hurts.
Organic, right?
Oh, so rad.
Now, the only thing that actually hurts them is like that stainless steel, like that wool thing, because it's so sharp. They don't like that. Anything else, they can pry
They can chew
through.
through.
They can chew through.
They can chew through, like, and it's kind of crazy. But even when you're so now when you're gardening and you have like weeds and everything, a lot of times people will go for like the pesticides, and that is very toxic, not just to us but also to the environment. So what are other ways that we could naturally do that?
So for me, when between the concrete slabs, you always have the weed growing in between.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, everybody does. So you can go to the shop and you've got the product. It says for that, exactly, to get rid of those unwanted weeds. But another cheaper and easier and nicer way is just boil the kettle and pour hot water on them. It will kill them. And the day later it's dried and you just put them out.
Oh,
Wow,
So
that's a good tip.
that's great.
and it's free and it's clean and it's so much smarter to do that. And I think
And
we
I
should.
can use that. I can do that in my in the garden itself.
Well,
It's
if you
not
do
gonna
it,
damage-
if you do it on your grass to get rid of dandelions, you'll kill the grass around it as well.
It'll come back though. It'll come back.
It will come back, but still, you will have a yellow spot. I don't like yellow spots on my grass.
Yeah, me neither.
So, the biggest, and I'm an avid gardener, and my biggest enemy is pest. We're talking about slugs. We're talking about spiders. We're talking about
Aphids?
aphids, and there is a lot of chemicals you can get for a lot of things. But also, let's say for slugs, there's so many tricks you could do to keep them out of your garden that's natural. Like even for, let's say, for slugs, you can put, like, I don't drink, but I could buy beer, and I put a little bit of beer in a cup around the gardens, and they're attracted to the yeast and they go inside the cup, and then I kind of get rid of them.
Mhm.
It's not a waste of beer.
Well, if it is, but I don't really care because I don't drink, but it's a good item to have in your garden.
We're just talking about a little bit.
We're just literally talking this much.
Oh, okay. You're not trying to get them drunk.
Or you can put a like broken eggshell around your plants,
Yeah.
so then they won't go to the plant to eat the leaves because they will cut themselves, so
Yeah.
they won't cross that barrier.
Mhm.
I put some orange peel around my garden to get rid of the raccoons and the skunks. I buy some ladybugs in any hardware shops to get rid of the aphids. And ladybugs looks good too,
Yeah.
right?
They're beautiful.
And if they have a food supply, they will stay around. So you won't need to go and buy the chemicals to get rid of the aphid because you've got the natural way. And
Wow.
it makes it more beautiful.
We've been planting plants that are beneficial. So sprinkled in between the vegetables and some of the things that we put. We not being gardeners, but you look it up online and find out what are some plants that you can plant in
Yes.
between things. And so that's where the lavender comes in, because bees love lavender.
Oh,
So we've been planting lavender plants, interspersed between our beans and all these other things, so that not only do they help pollinate, but it helps keep the other pests away. And they attract ladybugs, they attract bees, they attract all the hummingbirds and things like that. So they're the ones that are eating like the mosquitoes, the aphids, the all the other bad bugs
That's
that
right.
we don't like when we're out there.
this is
And,
the weekend, you guys, that I am going to go start gardening. So I need to hear all about natural stuff, no chemicals.
Yes.
I want organic soils. I'm growing my herbs this weekend, okay? So I'm coming to you guys for tips.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
that actually, this is a great conversation, but we don't have too much time for it. So do stay tuned for our full conversation on gardening tips, and start becoming a pro gardener, even though you're not. So stay tuned for that a series that we're doing, or show that we do. Just to move forward, and then before we have one more thing, and then before we can end. So, I mean, we've discovered that there's ways that we can go green. There's ways that, we can still store things. But now, what about in terms of, and also disposal to a certain extent? Now, what about, creating your own fertilizer? Is that something that is useful?
Definitely. We have a huge composter in the backyard. And so that's another thing, like you kind of think of where you're, what's the impact that we're putting on our city or our world. And our garbage is very little. Like sometimes I'll skip putting the garbage can out for the trucks because we have no garbage. And because of the what we do is we recycle a lot of the trimmings that we do, like off the vegetables, the fruit. A lot of it is, if we don't use it in soups or stocks that are like they've gone bad, we just put it into our composter, and after a few months, you keep turning it, and what happens is it decomposes. And so, and we're only throwing organic trimmings in there, so everything in there, because our garden is organic seeds, organic fruits and vegetables. We put the organic compost on top, and we dig it in. And so it's kind of like a nice cycle that we do, and we're not having to throw all that out, because it is beneficial, to let the products work themselves. And then we're not also buying the fertilizer from the store. It's much more economical, plus also, it's better product.
Yeah, and a good trick with a compost is to have good compost is to make sure it's covered, because you don't want it to get wet by water. You want to keep it like dry, but with the liquid from the trimmings that we put in. But also it's good to mix some cardboards or newspaper sometimes inside it in order to give it the nitrogen. And then you've got the healthiest compost ever.
But does it smell?
Nope, it actually does not smell.
If there's a tool that you buy, like you put in and it stirs it, and that's it. And it doesn't smell.
I have a quick question. Okay, so I'm a garburator girl. Okay, so can I use the peels
Yep.
from like carrots, my cucumbers and whatnot, and make and utilize like make it into a compost?
Yeah, that's exactly what goes into our compost.
Yeah. No meat, no dairy,
No raw meats. No
Okay, I don't
raw-
eat those anyways.
no bread. Virtually just fruit and vegetable peels or when they go bad.
Basically nothing cooked, right? Nothing cooked because the cooked food usually maybe some has oil or salt in it. That doesn't treat the compost well. So really exactly what you're saying, anything you're throwing down your garburator, you know, good habit is start off with maybe getting one of those little bins that sit on your counter or maybe underneath the sink. Line it with like a paper bag. They make paper bags that are biodegradable that's got like a plastic liner inside. So it's a paper bag. It looks like a paper bag, but it's waterproof. So when you throw in like rotting tomatoes or celery trimmings or whatever you have, at the end of the day, you take that out and you put it into your composter in your backyard. And the composter has a lid on it, so nothing's going to get in. And you know, like what Fred said, you just keep mixing it. You throw in dried leaves. Like when I rake the leaves, I throw it in there. When I mow the lawn, I put a little bit in there. So you're mixing different things up. And after a while, after a few months, probably about 6 to 8 months, it will start to basically rot. But it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. And then you scoop some out and you just use that as fertilizer.
I know this is for another day, but I'd love to know how to do
Yes,
compost.
this
That's our
is
next
definitely
meeting.
another conversation. That brings us to an end. As you can see, we can continue on talking and talking about gardening. So stay tuned for our next series on gardening. That will actually be our next series. So that way you can, and have your questions ready, and we will make sure we address those questions in the series as well. So comment below, and we will make sure we take care of your questions for you. And we'll have you gardening like our two pros that we have at the bottom. Anyway, so that concludes our series, and this is the final announcement for the healthy home. If you have not entered, it's still not late. You still have a chance to enter into the draw. Like our Facebook page, which is the Healthy Wave Vibes. Share it on your page, tag 3 friends, and comment on our post. And then just make sure you're watching our question and answer live, and that's when we will do the draw at the end of the question and answer. So hope you enjoy this series, and if you haven't had a chance to catch any of our other series, check out our Facebook page. You will find the rest of our series, and we will see you the next time. Do check us out every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thank you for joining in, and bye for now.
Bye. Stay safe.
Bye.